Thanks for staying with us. As we said, we're going to open our phone lines. Good morning, John from Abuja. Thanks for calling. You're live. Hello, John.
Yes, I'm hearing you.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Okay, I thank God for this program this morning. I want to report a similar case that happened last week in Abuja, in Kubwa, at Kubwa village. A woman, where women are flicking their hair, one woman was driving, Joanna. She quickly drove and killed two people while they are flicking their hair inside the market. You can send your reporter to come and investigate. So, eventually, two women got serious injured. So, we have to them to respond in the hospital.
I can't hear you properly. So sorry.
I think it's 9 o'clock. It should happen around 9 o'clock in the morning. Hello?
Wow. Yeah, it was difficult to hear the details. Something happened. What happened in Abuja?
A similar case happened in Kubwa village.
Okay.
Where women were using here. So a woman drove a car that ran into a certain woman, and the woman were injured. They got serious injuries. So they now took them to Kubwa General Hospital at the spot. Okay. So they delayed these people. They couldn't attend to them until.
Okay, it was difficult to hear what he was saying, but I think he was saying that a similar situation happened somewhere in Abuja. Yes. Do you have any comments on social media to add to this?
Yes, we do.
Okay, do you want to go ahead?
Please go ahead.
All right, so while we're looking for comments, but I think really it would be nice to, we're going to wrap up on this very soon, but really the truth is that we'll wait for the investigation concerning Greatness's situation. Hopefully, we have something more decisive at this time. We don't want to have this conversation again in the next 5 or 10 years of this similar thing happening. But there's an angle that we've not touched on. The social media. Oh, you have comments? Okay, go ahead, please.
So, Honorable Ademola Alalade says the hospital the lady was taken to should be sanctioned for not attending to the patient on time and asking for police report before treating a patient in an emergency situation. Government should review policies around emergency situations in our hospitals.
Okay, I have Abiodun from Abuja. Good morning, Abiodun from Abuja. Thanks for calling.
Good morning.
Morning, sir.
Yeah. Yes, I want to share my friends of this topic with you guys now. I had an accident last year, October. Yes, I broke my femur bone. And I was rushed down before General Hospital in Abuja at Kubwa. So the doctor or the nurse, maybe auxiliary nurse, I don't know, that attended to me refused to like do what he was supposed to do. My bone was broken, my phone was shattered, my car was like almost right off. Okay. Almost right off. The phone I had with me was shattered, and they removed my SIM and asked me to transfer money so that they can use it to buy some things they need to use on me. Even they called the policeman came, and the policeman was even trying to say, okay, I don't have any money with me. There are maybe 5,000 I let them just use to get me some drugs. This is a general hospital for crying out loud. You are supposed to have all these things. My bone is broken, and they could not even do anything. They just used one tacker to pack my leg until it was around 1 a.m. at midnight, until my family had to come. The same guy who rescued me on the express, ordinary Aboki, I'm sorry to say this, is an outer boy, young boy, drove me down with his car to the general hospital. The boy was even begging them for them to attend to me.
Thank you very much, Biodun. I think Biodun raised an important point. Aside from the emergency part, they don't have the requisite amenities to even treat certain emergencies because he had a broken bone. So, you know, when you go to hospital, they tell you to go and buy certain things. Your family will have to go collect, they'll get the list from the nurse, go and buy this to save your son. So that's also an issue. who is equipping these hospitals? What's government doing to ensure that these hospitals are properly equipped to handle these issues of emergency? Because from what he's saying, that they were willing to treat him, but they say, "Uncle, bring out your ATM or your phone so you can transfer money. We need certain things to treat you." That's another angle.
And in a case where it wasn't even in his senses, or maybe he was unconscious, it would have just gone like that. Yeah. So it's because he was even alive that they were able to say, bring your SIM, let's
just go and get money to...
I think it all boils down to empathy. Empathy from everybody, this angle. Empathy from the police, empathy from the hospitals. For,
I can't use my money to treat you, because I might not have enough. So I might empathize with you that your leg is broken, but I don't have the 50,000 naira to go and buy the gauze or whatever to hold your... I don't have those things. So,
okay, so even the patients, too, need to understand that hospital staff have to be paid. So nobody should just get to hospital and expect that because I'm having a bad day, they have to take care of me and then I'll tell stories. When people go to hospitals, they must understand that the hospital, even when the doctor can treat you and let it go, what about the people he works with? They have to be paid. So it's empathy from every angle. So I also want to clarify, when I said church earlier, I meant church for empathy purpose, because most times when these things happen and you're the scene of the issue, there's always who will bail the cats, who has money to drop. So I feel like instead of having to, I'm not blaming you, Morayo, but sometimes exhausting options to a point where you feel I've tried everything and maybe I'm not the person that can help you, but I passed you on to where you're going to find help. Yeah, so I think religious organizations should also step in. Let's ask questions.
Let me take this call from Dotun. Thanks for calling, Dotun. You're live.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Okay, from my own view, according to the video we saw, the hospital was shown and that girl was still alive. That's one. Then another one is this. You see, government has done their own part by giving rules and regulations. But the problem we are having is the people working. Let me give you an example. There was a day I was arrested in VIO Island. What's it called? Olovu. So my driver's license was collected, and it was stated in their office that if your vehicle is being impounded, you will pay for demurrage. Demurrage will be charged. So after making every necessary payment to pick my driver's license, the lady there said I must pay for demurrage for my driver's license. I said, but it's not part of this. He said I must pay. So I checked. I saw the sector commander's number. I called him and I explained everything to him. So he said I should go and give the person the phone. After I gave her the phone, she was like, sorry, sir. When she handed over the phone back to me, she didn't give me my driver's license. She waited for her boss to come, and I don't know what she explained to her boss. When the boss came back, he was like shouting, threatening me that if he decides not to give me my license, what do I do? People there, I have to start begging for me to collect my license. You can see the government has done their own part, but those working there is the problem.
Okay. So, all right. Thank you very much. I have a comment here that I'd like to read. This person says, the Red Cross International has consistently assisted the Nigerian police force since 2017 in reaching out to hospitals across the country that police reports are not required to treat victims of crime. Anyone can Google the Red Cross International in Nigeria. The information is there. Thousands of posters and handbills on this information were printed and pasted in the hospitals and distributed across the country. Billboards about this information were also positioned in strategic locations in the country. My opinion, therefore, is that the police must start arresting and prosecuting hospital managers for refusing to treat victims of crime.
Yes.
So this is from somebody who knows, and this is the person of authority.
Yes. In fact, what you said earlier, even though we said, oh, that may have been too much, is that there has to be a punishment. Because if they can get away with it, then what will make them stop? So now we know exactly that it's about money. And they just use that police report to cover up for that. So you come in and they don't think you look like you can pay for your bills. They'll let you go. And the sad thing about an emergency situation is that you can never tell. You are seeing someone who is in their worst state ever. So how do you tell if the person can pay or not? But that's aside, I remember a story. Someone said that when they had traveled from Lagos to Dubai, they got to Dubai and this person collapsed. He had a heart attack. He said he was immediately whisked to the hospital and was taken care of. He said he believed if that happened to him in Nigeria, his own country, he would have died at the airport. So there's also that thing about us where we need to do better. We need to put things in place, you know, health-wise, facilities in place. And this idea, see, I don't want to blame, because you brought up the point where, you know, we need to have empathy for hospitals and the hospital staff. I agree with you. So that's where government needs to make sure that where a hospital has given its services for someone in an emergency and that person absconds for whatever reason, that they can go somewhere where they are compensated for that. Then you will encourage hospitals to always give help when they see it. But truly, you know, this issue of sending people away when they are completely, when they're in an emergency situation does not sit well with me. You know, as we said, there have to be different ways that you can do this. Even if the person is unable to pay, can we get a group of people who can put a few amounts of money together towards this person's bill instead of thinking of sending away a bleeding person? I just still can't get in my head how you send somebody away that's dying.
There's an angle that we've not touched on. The angle is that some of this internal sabotage, where as a hospital staff, I have siphoned the hospital's resources. So, for example, I hear that some nurses or some doctors, maybe they use government equipment for maybe personal use, their personal offices. All the stuff is supposed to use for emergency. Either you sold this, you know, all those internal sabotage. Where when an emergency finally comes in, because we don't have the equipment, I'd rather pronounce them dead on arrival because it's the easiest thing to get away. I don't want wahala with the CMD. And because you ask me, where are the various things you're supposed to do to attend this person? Oh, it has finished. We don't have anymore. But sometimes, these are just speculations. We don't know. But some people are saying that there could be internal sabotage where what government has provided has been stolen or been siphoned or taken away, such that they can't even treat an emergency. So they'd rather just say, dead on arrival. That's the easiest thing to get away with it.
We have said many times that we do not think that hospitals and hospital workers face the consequences of some of the malpractices that happen there. Yeah. You know, not only sending off people who have come in emergency situations, people who are in the hospital, and then there's a mistake in treatment because of your, maybe, you know, not really paying attention, inefficiency. Things happen like that. People die in hospitals, and there's really no accountability. They seem to be able to get away with it. So there has to be a body, an independent body that is not so much part of the medical system that it feels, oh, these are my people, I need to protect them. That is able to punish those malpractices that happen within the health sector.
But there is a body.
No, there is a medical body that can call you and, you know, and discipline you. But sometimes you find, sometimes you find that because we know you, this is a professor that has been with us for many years, he's such a good man, this may have been a mistake, and then you let that person go.
I agree.
I can only imagine the number of people that would have died this way without being in the newspapers. So Greatness was somebody that, because people knew her, they were able to amplify this story. This is similar to a case of one of my friends also, Morayo, about 3 or 4 years ago.
I remember the hospital.
I mean,
happened here in Bagada. I remember
in
that.
Bagada.
Yes, we took that story.
Same scenario. She was stabbed, taken to the hospital, police reports, and by the time they took her to General Hospital, she died.
In fact, it was that story that made us bring in, I think it was the Badmos, the DSP, Dolakwa Badmos. Then she came here and she was very, very emphatic that it is not longer required. Remember that story very, very clearly.
So beyond, it is no longer required. We hear that over and over again. What can be done? Because we think that these things are far away. I mean, they're not as far as we think that they are. We know that somehow, if we as a nation do not stand up to really, really take this on as we are all Nigerians, it can eat anybody. Yoruba say, ole taba anybody. So we should please take it on.
Yes, comment says, we need to stop making excuses. I think Nigerians should be made aware that they can seek legal aid to sue these hospitals. That's another thing.
Yeah.
Oh, Tracy. Tracy, thanks for calling. You're live.
I'm a first-time caller.
Woo, welcome to the show.
Okay, so let me make it quick. I've been in a situation whereby I was in an emergency situation, and luckily I was attended to really fast in a government hospital in Abuja. But while I was in the hospital, a lot of people told me how they were rejected and referred. So from my own personal experience, what I feel is there should be a budget by our government for emergency situations. And then government also needs NHIS for low-income earners, especially people in the urban areas, or rural areas rather, so that when they are rushed into the hospital unconscious, either their phone number, their SIM card, or something, maybe their name is attached to their NHIS. Because I feel this is an issue of funding, and nobody wants to lose his job as a medical professional. So they probably looked at me and felt I could afford it, and I was attended to without asking for any amount of money. But other patients complained to me while I was in the government hospital how they almost died because they were rejected. I know the long and short of the story. After they were attended to, most of them had to fall back to me to make payments for their medical bills. They couldn't afford it. So these medical professionals sometimes are trying to save when they look away. So it makes it look like these people are heartless, but they are not. They're just trying to save their job. So I think we need to get to the root of the matter.
Right.
Before government does sensitization, what funding has been made for those who cannot afford it?
Thank you so much, Tracy. See, I'm so tempted to go back to this topic because
everyone's calling.
Nigerians are talking about it, and I think all the comments are on this topic. Because when she was talking, I just remember the experience again that I've shared here several times. I'm sorry that I have to move from this friendship.
It's fine.
So, because when she was talking, because as much as we like to highlight the negative, I must also highlight some of the good. Because I remember I've shared the story where my son, I had a friend, Akade, who told me about a hospital, same doctor I was saying that had relocated close by, when that he called him during an emergency and the doctor treated. So thankfully, about a week later, my son almost gave up the ghost at 2 a.m. at night. I remember that time, my little son, he was not breathing, he was rolling his head like this, rolling his head. And I just remember that Kende gave me a number, and I called the doctor. I said, sir, my son, I was screaming, please help me. He said, start coming. And this was in K2 here. My husband, I was in pajamas, my husband was in his boxers, we jumped up, car keys, he was shirtless. We drove to the end of the street. The gate was locked. We parked the car there. We banged on the gate. He carried the child. I was behind him. Both of us were running on the street towards the hospital. And I was just crying. Brown was running shirtless with his boxers. As we got to the hospital, guess what? They were waiting for us. Wow. The doctor, a stretcher, nurses were on standby in this Lagos K2 here. Standing, waiting for us. As we got, I think there was light. They were at the reception, waiting for us. As we came in, they put the ventilator, what they call that thing? Put all of it, put all the machines, oxygen, everything around him in the reception. My husband started scabashing, praying, we just cried. I was just crying. And then they revived my son. This is in Nigeria. So now, when I had the conversation with that man later, he said, listen, we do these things, but you see, nobody pays. Thank God you are able to pay. But people come in like this, we treat them, and they leave. So a man like that, you now tell him to treat an emergency. He is just one of the trillions that we have. He has relocated to Canada. But this was a situation that happened to me, not just.
So I don't want to take away from the positive of that story, right? But I also would like for us to, there's a reality as well for millions of Nigerians who do not have your name or your recognition, which must have played a part.
No, it didn't.
No. Sorry, not in this case, which can play a part in some cases where, for your name, for who you are, it would get you some. But there are some people who will be calling you from, even when you see them or the way they're looking or smelling, you will determine, this person cannot pay.
Right,
For those people, so it's not like we're bashing the hospitals completely, but we know that there are situations that happen that regular Nigerians will find themselves in situations like Greatness, where they will not get help because they do not look like they are able to pay. We need, so we're not bashing hospitals now. As our last caller said, we need to look for a solution so that the hospitals get paid, and they're able to do more of the good that they're doing now, and innocent Nigerians do not end up dying because they do not look like they can pay, or we're judging them even before, So that's where health insurance must come in. The government has to be able to make sure that when a patient cannot pay, they would pay the hospital, because we need the hospitals to work.
Absolutely. So they don't take it away from that story, because the truth is that that person had no idea who I was. And I called him at 2 a.m. in the morning, and he just received me as a Nigerian, not because of anything that has to do with my name. He didn't even know who I was until afterwards. But it was at that moment, 2 a.m., he picked up at 2 a.m. and he received us. So just to let that, there are some good doctors there. We must encourage them. Unfortunately, he has moved to Canada now. So, I don't know if we go back to basketball.
Or should I read some of the...
Because I really...
Yeah, so we have... Babalola Samuel says, aunties, please, how many times have they done adverts in Nigeria to show love and values for life? I've watched people, a pregnant lady, rush to the hospital. This person calls out UPTH in Port Harcourt, and they left her till she died. And that I can never forget for the rest of my life. Clef says, it's a pity Nigeria, we don't value human lives. Most security operatives, FRSC, police also to be precise, do not even know how to give first aid, CPR, to accident victims before even carrying these victims to the hospital.
Let me take Margaret from Justin. I'll come to you, Runke. Margaret from Jos, thanks for calling. You're live.
Thank you. Good morning.
Morning. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much. I want to say I have the same similar case with the pregnant one. It was I thank God I'm alive. I was rushed to hospital 4 years ago. My son was premature. And because of the hospital, I've lost 2 babies in the same hospital.
How many difficulty? It's so muffled. I'm so sorry, Margaret. Really want to hear from you.
She said she was rushed to the hospital 7 years ago.
Okay.
I think she wanted to share experience.
Yeah, I'm so sorry. Let's take a few more comments. Just to say, wrapping up very soon. But I think this issue of medical, I think Mariam has really touched on the NHS issue. I mean, that's the, at the end of the day, it's money.
Yeah.
If you look at it in different ways, it's about making sure all the hospitals are properly equipped to the T, and they can actually attend to any emergency that comes their way, such that they have a backing that even if anything happens, that person runs away or sneaks away, NHS will be able to. Now, we all have BVNs.
Yes.
We have BVN. Everybody can be traced. We can find you. So once you come in, once I have your BVN or whatever documents, I can find a way to get that money back. I'm told we have Dr. Dolakwa Fashawe. She's the Secretary of Health and Environmental Services, FCT. Good morning, Dr. Dolakwa Fashawe. Thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning. I'm glad to be here.
Yes, could you give us an update on this matter? I mean, it's all over news. Everybody's talking about what happened to Greatness in FCT, and we hear that the National Assembly is already investigating. The police is carrying an investigation. What are your own views about it, and what's been done so far from your end?
From our end, yesterday the Honorable Minister inaugurated a 9-man independent panel. Independent of government and government interference to investigate the unfortunate death of this lady. We commiserate with her family. However, this committee has as its members a representative of NBA, like Nigerian Bar Association, MDCAN, Medical and Dental Council of Nigeria, NME, Nigerian Medical Association, Association of Resident Doctors, National Association of Nigerian Nurses, Consumer Protection, a member, in fact, the president of Nigerian Consumer Protection and staff agency.
Right.
And the main sense of reference is to find out the circumstances surrounding the unfortunate incident. There has been a lot on social media, a lot of things that are not factual, but we have set up this panel and we will open our doors and our staff to questioning and investigation to find out if there was any form of negligence in the health sector and system, either an individual or the whole system. If we fail this patient, justice will definitely avail.
So, So I'm happy that, you've set up this committee and you're investigating, because normally when issues like this happen, we never really hear what happens eventually. But let's just, just for conversation's sake, let's say that you find that there was malpractice that was involved or negligence. What steps will be taken against the hospital, or is it the particular staff that may have done that? So what would be the steps taken against them?
The objectives of setting up a committee is not only punitive, it is also to give closure to the family of the deceased, the bereaved. It is also to help improve or look into our system. And if there's negligence by anyone, the laws that govern medical practice and ethics are very clear and public. When the report is made public, we will definitely revert back to the law. I can assure you that.
Okay.
Right. Okay, so going forward, what are the things, or what suggestions can you give to avoid issues like this or cases like this from happening in the future? Because we've seen so many cases over time.
The truth is that the law states that the first 24 hours of any patient arriving at any government institution or any hospital, emergency care must be given.
Please say that again.
For the first 24 hours. But this is not without a clause.
Okay.
If it appears like an armed robbery case or there are gunshots involved, we would request for a police report. But this does not mean that we do not administer first aid whilst requesting for a police report. I repeat again, for all medical care givers, we have to give first aid. That is what the law says. Also, as the patients have their rights, so do the healthcare workers. At times, we are exposed to danger in some of these cases.
Yeah.
So the doctor has a right to refuse a patient's treatment if the patient and the people who brought him or her appear to be a threat to the doctor's life itself.
Okay.
Yes, that is acceptable.
Yes.
Okay.
So,
can I go on? Yeah. Good morning, Dr. Fashoe. Good to hear your voice again. So I want to confirm, when some people go through experiences like this and they're able to make it, maybe they survive and they want to complain, where are they supposed to direct their complaints to without the whole drama of the media?
So,
and
every hospital every government hospital has a service delivery unit called Servicom. This is a system established by law. It is not even a policy. Servicom exists here in FCT. We will soon make our numbers public for a feedback mechanism. We will soon have toll-free hotline that will be made public for patient complaints. In addition to the existing emergency number, there's a call center that runs for police, accidents, and hospital, ambulance, and fire services in Abuja. All these numbers will be made public in the FCC.
Yeah. All right. So, Dr. Fashoe, so before you joined us, we were here trying to figure out why, a hospital would send away a patient that is obviously in distress. But you just mentioned that in the 24 hours of an emergency, the hospital must give first aid and then turn away a patient if the hospital or doctor is able to determine that person may be a threat. So you see how this is quite ambiguous and leaves the determination of threats to
I did not say send away. It's a threat.
Turn away.
I said if the doctor reserves the right to refuse treatment to any patient or relative that threaten the doctor's existence or life. We have security measures that protect us as well. Such patients can be sent away and the police will be called immediately. However, with all things being equal, a patient with a gunshot injury will be given first aid while we are requesting for a police report. Nobody is to be sent away. I am quite clear on that.
Sorry to come back again. So just for clarity, you talked about first aid being given to the victim. And in the time that, and in that time, police report needs to be gotten. How long do you think would that, because sometimes getting the police is not as quick or as, so who determines, like, how long does it take before you can say, okay, a police report has not been gotten yet?
The nearest police report, the nearest police station is supposed to cover general hospitals around them. We're trying to work out a system with the Nigerian police where in the FCC we will have a dedicated desk for this particular activity. Because the bureaucracy of getting a police report at times may be difficult for the patient, especially if they are innocent. However, for the armed robber who has secured a gunshot wound or has probably killed someone somewhere, the police report is also very relevant whilst we give care. We can give care to people that their legs are handcuffed to the bed after a police report.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much for that clarity. We really needed that clarity this morning because a lot of speculations, but we don't have much time. I was going to let you touch on the issue of social media because when things like this happen, the first thing we do is many Nigerians rely heavily on social media reports. So in this case, we are hoping that whatever the report comes, whatever outcome of the police report is, can show some kind of a justification of what happened because people are just worried that they saw a video where the young girl seemed to be alive and yet the hospital is saying she arrived in dead. So we are hoping that the report eventually gives us a real clarity on what happened.
The report will, as in-depth investigation will be carried out. And a member of the panel is also a high-ranking pathologist. A member of the Association of Nigerian Pathologists Union. So we will be able to determine if she was brought in dead or alive by this independent body.
All right, thank you very much, Dr. Dolakwa Fashewe. Let me let you go at this time. It was a pleasure having you on the call this morning.
Thank you. Have a nice day.
Thank
you. You too. Thank you, ma'am.
So, I mean, heard it from her, and we all wait for the reports. I mean, it's quite painful, but at least we know that they're supposed to give first aid at the minimum. And at least the first 24 hours, then you ask for a police report because there are incidences where you have armed robbers who come in and you can lead, his arrest and detainment can actually lead to resolving bigger crimes. So it's important for us to also understand the importance of police report, but doesn't negate the need, the urgency in providing first aid to any wounded victim. I think we can end on that. Okay, that's all we can take on today's show. I hope you learned a few things as we have once again our hearts go out to the families of greatness, and we pray that indeed justice is served and this never happens again. Tomorrow, please join Veronica and the ladies on Saturday episode. See you then. Bye for now.